Hello, I'm Joe Quintana and I am here with Michael Potts, director of Mrs. Potts Chocolate House, one of our amazing winners from last year's One Good Turn business plan competition. Hi Michael, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks Joe. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. So I'm just going to jump right in. Do you remember how you felt when you won the One Good Turn award in January 2021?
I do remember, Joe. In fact, I'd go back a step before that because we entered the competition. There was a round of finalists. So I even remember being listed as one of the finalists and being excited about that. And then we had a Zoom call because this was right around the time of the pandemic. And it was interesting because I was looking at and seeing all the other finalists and thinking, wow, there's some really amazing businesses here. And I was a bit in awe, I suppose, of the other finalists were. And I really didn't think we'd win, to be honest, because we're up against such good company. And then, yeah, when it got announced, I just remember thinking, like, oh, wow. And I remember telling my wife and my daughter, because they're owners in the business and part of the business as well. And yeah, just being really excited, really excited.
Yeah, that's great. So could you tell me about the impact that the prize that you won had on your business during the last year?
Yeah, it was an interesting time. It was last year's been very difficult, and I think for a lot of businesses, it's been very difficult. The one thing for us is that we were a pretty immature business. We still are quite immature. We sort of hired a lot of people. We had a lot of people off furloughed, and then we were starting to come back and we're starting to do a lot of things like trying to figure out how we could run the business safely from a customer perspective and a staff perspective. At the same time, get revenue in and keep the business alive. So we're sort of juggling a lot of things. And so we weren't really sure how that was impacting staff. And so it was interesting. We did a lot of work with hgkc and also DISCsimple, and it was great to see, I think, just how things were seen or perceived by our staff. So in some areas it was surprising, some areas it wasn't, but it was really good to be able to evaluate that, use that information, and to be able to go out and communicate to staff, probably on things that we could do better, areas that we were going to work on, but also acknowledge, I think, the hard work and some of the concerns that staff had. So it was really helpful in a very turbulent, uncertain period for our business.
So how did you find working with hgkc and DISCsimple? Was it useful to you?
Yeah, very useful. It was very useful. I think DISCsimple, I've done different sort of personality type quizzes and stuff like that, but this one was interesting. So for my wife, it was the first time she'd done it, my daughter as well. And it was very interesting to see just how different we were. And initially, to be honest, you sort of look at your own profile and you sort of think that that's the perfect profile. I don't know, whatever position you're in, whether you're running the business or doing something else, you're sort of, oh, that's the profile that fits. And you don't realize till later that actually we've all got different profiles. And just because we have different profiles doesn't mean that that's the right fit for this role or this role. That's just how we see the world. So it was amazing for us around communicating. So realizing that actually even in the family, we had different profiles. And therefore that meant we just were going to see things from a very different perspective. And the very helpful part is where it talks about, okay, so I'm a D, you're an I. When we communicate, I'm going to be looking for 1, 2, 3, and the I person is going to want to hear it this way. And so it enabled us probably to improve our communication, particularly with some of the staff that we're working with, who had very different profiles to us.
Yeah, just finding those little different ways of changing the way you communicate, and it really does help with communication and teamwork there as well.
Just on that, it's interesting as well, because initially I mistakenly thought that if I'm a D, I'd want everyone in the company to be a D, because then we'd all get on with each other. We'd know, we'd all, rather than understanding actually I need a D and an I and an S and a C to really bring balance to the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, need a blend of all four.
Yeah.
So what would you say to the winners of this year's competition? What piece of advice would you have to give?
I'd say congratulations, first of all. I think it's, well done. And secondly, I'd say, obviously, this is an opportunity to be able to utilize this information. Particularly for us, we're a small business. It's we've got to watch every penny that we have coming into the business, and we were fortunate to have, some valuable information provided to us. So, grab it with both hands. I think the one thing I'd say is it's a bit like winning a free gym membership. So it sounds great. Oh, wow, but you've got to get up at 6 every morning. So there's work you have to put into it. It's not just sitting back and letting hgkc or DISCsimple come in and tell you what to do. It's you've got to work and put the effort in. And probably the hardest bit, to be honest, is getting that feedback. While it's very helpful, and in hindsight it's very helpful, when you get that initial feedback, it can be quite disconcerting, because we all think we're doing an amazing job. So just you've got to have an open mind and really be open to this information helping, you know, your business to become a better business.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was all my questions for today. So I want to thank you, Michael, for taking the time to talk to me today and providing some insight into what it's like to be a winner of One Good Turn. So thank
No
you.
worries. Well, thank you to HGKC and DISCsimple for helping us last year. And congratulations to whoever the winner is. There's some amazing businesses out there. So I'm sure whoever the winner is doing an amazing job. So well done.